It can get so confusing about a mask. So do you wear one when you're traveling? What do you do? Because the CDC as well as TCA recently changed their guidelines, at least updated them. Well, we've got an expert here to help you out. Joining us live this morning is Christopher Elliott, Chief Advocacy Officer with Elliott Advocacy. Oh my goodness, I want to make sure all of our viewers know what they're supposed to do. So let's start with CDC. What are they now advising our viewers to do?
Well, the CDC changed, as you said, its advisory last week, and it said that if you have been vaccinated and if you're not in a crowd, you don't have to wear a mask. And that's where some of the confusion is coming in. What actually constitutes a crowd? So people don't know. And a lot of folks are just leaving their masks on as a default.
All right. So that, yeah, I would agree. That's what I'm seeing and hearing as well. Okay. Now, what about for travelers? Because the TSA also revised their updates. It can get really confusing if you're heading out to the airport and trying to figure out how many masks you need to pack. What's the deal there?
Pack your mask, definitely. The TSA had a mask mandate, and that mandate was supposed to expire earlier this month. TSA extended it until September. So if you are going through a TSA checkpoint, you're going to have to wear a mask. Important to remember also that your airport might have its own mask policy and your airline might also have its own mask policy. All individual policies, they may be enforced in different ways. So again, probably a good idea just to leave your mask on.
And it can vary from place to place. So what do you suggest for people who are planning to travel? How do you figure out what the deal is once you get to wherever it is you're going?
Well, I was traveling last week. In fact, I still am traveling now. And it got, for me personally, very confusing. I actually am fully vaccinated, but the theme park I was visiting, I was at Disney World, had its own mask requirement. My hotel had its own mask requirement. You had to wear a mask in the hotel, but not in your room. And then when you walked into an elevator, it had its own rule where only 2 people at a time, unless you're in a pod, and you had to wear a mask. And so people were starting to wonder, can I take my mask off now? Can I not? I had one woman walk up to me and ask me if I was vaccinated and then said, well, that makes me feel better because I've left my mask at home, up in my room. So there's just so much confusion. And really the default, the thing to remember when you are traveling is when in doubt, put your mask on.
That is the easiest way to do it. And how important is it for people to realize that companies still have the right to require that or not to require it? So you really have to pay attention as you go from place to place.
That's absolutely true. And I saw that at all kinds of places, at establishments in Florida where I was traveling, where you go up to the front door and they have their own mask rules. And it's so confusing because you walk in and half the people are wearing masks and half of them are not wearing masks, and you're wondering who's policing this. And the thing is that this is going to be a record summer for travel. There's a huge amount of pent-up demand. A lot of people are going to be out there, and you don't want to get into a confrontation about a mask. So my advice is to wear a mask, even if you think that you don't have to wear a mask. Wear one, and just to be on the safe side. And hopefully that will cut down on the transmission of COVID as well.
For sure. And just at the end of the day, remember that everyone's just trying to keep your safety at hand and keep you and your family safe. Thank you for joining us and explaining it all to us.
You're very welcome.